hope you're all having a wonderful day and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share with you guys this very bland, basic glam eyeshadow look. I'm so glad that soft glam is in right now. I know it's like boring by a lot of people's standards, but it's my go-to. I absolutely love it. And I've been doing this eyeshadow look or some variation of it for the past like 6 to 7 months. It's been my absolute favorite and I've gotten so many requests from you guys to do it, so I'm finally doing it. I did do like a brief version of it in the James Charles casting call video, and I used the James Charles palette for that video, but because I only had 5 minutes, I kind of had to breeze through it and couldn't go into as much detail as I wanted to. I also did this eyeshadow look. I didn't do a tutorial on it, but I did it when I did the Jaclyn Hill highlighter review. I did that with one of her palettes, so you can use tons of different palettes as long as they have some basic brown shades in them. You can recreate this look with honestly any palette. And today I'm doing this eyeshadow look with the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This has been my go-to palette to use for this look. I just love the rich shades. I'm using a lot of the ones from this bottom section here. Honestly, I was at a wedding over the summer. I was doing makeup for my friend's wedding and I didn't have a lot of time, but I basically did this eyeshadow look on all the bridesmaids, myself included, and I love how it turned out. I feel like I can make this as quick and easy as I need it to be, or I can glam it up with some glitter. It's just really great. And you can honestly wear it with any lip color combination too. I used it in the summertime with like a pink or a nude lip, and then today I paired it with a deep dark maroon lip, and then for part of it too I show you guys what it looks like with a brown lip as well. So you can mix and match it however you like. It's one of my favorites. So I hope you guys are excited for this tutorial, and let's get started. I did want to show you guys as an option what it looks like with just mascara on, no lashes. I will be applying lashes to this as a finished look, but I wanted to show you guys what this looks like with just mascara on because I totally think you could wear it with just mascara as well. As you can see, this palette is very loved, but some of the shades we'll be using today are Tempera. We'll be using that in the inner corner and also right below the brow bone. We'll also be using Orange Soda just in the crease area, Burnt Orange, a little bit of Rustic, Cypress Umber, Noir, and Bronze. So we'll be using a lot of colors. You don't necessarily have to use all of these. I just like to use them to add some depth. You could create this look using just maybe 4 of these shadows. I only use a little bit of Noir in the outer corner just to really deepen that up, and you will need Bronze or a shimmer shadow if you do want to make this a shimmer look. Otherwise, you could keep it completely matte. But those are the shades we are using today from the Soft Glam palette. So I'm starting off with that Orange Soda shade, and I'm taking my Sephora brush number 27, and I'm going to start working that right where that bone is. So you can kind of feel where your orbital bone is. That's where I'm going to start. So right above my eyelid. And I'm just going to start blending that pretty roughly. This is more of a messy look, so it's okay if it's not perfectly precise. I will be showing you how I go back in and clean that up by using the cut crease method. So I'm just kind of blending that on there just to kind of work that in as our base shade. I'm going in side to side motions and blending that all over. But I am mainly concentrating this right above my eyelid. So you don't really want to go below that, but kind of create this like rainbow shape right above your eyelid, not eye bone. I will drag this out a little bit too, because I kind of had this one come to kind of a point on the other side. So I'll start to do that. This is where I'll take the shade Tempera. It's that light shade. I'll be taking the shade right underneath my brow, along my brow bone, just to kind of brighten that up as well. And then go back in with a little bit more Orange Soda just to blend that out. So I will be using a smaller detail brush for this next part. This is the Moda Pro BMX 420 detail brush. I did receive this in BoxyCharm, and I do get BoxyCharm sent to me by BoxyCharm, so thank you so much, BoxyCharm. This is a perfect brush for this step. You could use, honestly, again, like any brush though, that kind of has a shape not as fluffy as the last one, still more of like a bullet, so it's kind of rounded, and it's gonna be a little bit denser and help us really pack on that color. So then I'm taking the Burnt Orange. It's just a little bit darker than the Orange Soda shade, and I'm going to tap that into my outer corner area. So we're using this shade just to kind of build up some color, and the end result, you don't really see much of it, but we're just kind of laying down that foundation so that it will look seamless when we blend on top the other colors. I'll kind of buff that out a little bit as well, but just kind of packing that on. And I'm not sweeping it because I really want that color to be intense. Next, I'm taking the shade Rustic. I'm skipping the shade Sienna. That's that really kind of red clay color. And Rustic is more of like a rustic brown color. I think it's accurately named. And again, doing the same motion where I am tapping that into the outer corner to kind of build up that pigment. And it is okay to be slightly messy with this just because we will go back in and clean it up with a blending brush. I am almost drawing like a triangle here. I'm keeping that kind of line. And I'm not trying to blend it up yet. So mainly just concentrating that towards the lower part of my eye. And then slightly blending that a little bit, but not too much. Then when there's less product, I'll kind of start to shape out that edge. But it is looking kind of sloppy, so I will go back and blend it with the first brush we used. I'm not taking any pigment on this brush. I'm just going to use it to kind of blend out those edges. So it's still looking kind of light, so I'm going to pick up Cypress Umber to darken this up. And because this is a dark shade, we want to go really gentle with this and slowly build this up as opposed to just going on heavy-handed with this. Just lightly tapping. I always think it's a lot easier to slowly build a pigment rather than go on with too much and have a hard time blending it out. That's kind of when it starts to look a little muddy. I will take the smallest amount of Rustic on this first brush just to kind of blend it out. I mentioned this in other tutorials as well, but it's really easy to blend out colors if you pick up the shade you used right before that one to kind of help blend the colors together. So by going in with Rustic, which is the shade I used right before Cypress Umber, it really helped me to blend this out. But because we used the first couple of shades, you can kind of see that really soft fade, and we wouldn't really have that if we just went in with these darker colors at first. And I'm also holding my brush pretty gently. If you can see from the side angle, this is how lightly I'm blending that shade out. I'm not pressing in, I'm just very lightly touching my eye. I feel like how you hold the brush is really imperative to your blending because you have to be really soft and gentle with it. I'll pick up the slightest amount of orange soda just to kind of work that over those edges and help blend them out. But you can see it kind of washed it out a little bit. So I'll take up a little bit more burnt orange and Rustic to kind of build back that color. That's the thing with tutorials too, is you definitely have to adjust it based off of what you're seeing in person. So for me, I really want to deepen this up, so that's why I'm going back and forth, blending it out and adding some color. Maybe for you, it's plenty dark and you don't want it darker anymore. That's totally fine to stop wherever you feel like you like it the best. It's okay to not perfectly recreate a tutorial with the same amount of like pigment that you want to use. Everyone's eye shape is so different, especially their texture too. So I have pretty dry eyes, so it takes me a little bit longer to build up pigment, whereas if you have oily eyelids, your eyes might pick up the color much better than mine, so you might not have to go back over 5, 6, 7 times like I do. You also might have an easier time blending than I do too. Then I'm picking up the smallest amount of Noir, it's that deep black shade, and just popping that right into the outer crease. So you can see how dark that shade is, especially compared to the rest of them. So I'm keeping this almost like where I would put eyeliner. And I am just tapping that on. There is a little bit of fallout, but that's okay. We will pick that up later. And that's as low as I will keep it. I really won't blend it up higher than that. I don't really want that to overtake the eyeshadow look. But I will pack a little bit now of Cypress Umber into this outer area. And even when I'm picking up the shades, I'm barely touching the pans. I don't want to pick up a lot of the shades, so the way I touch my lid, like I showed you guys, I'm barely touching it. I'm having the exact same amount of pressure when I'm picking up the shades. But that is about as dark as I'd like it before I go in and cut the crease and apply the shimmer shade to my lid. To cut my crease, I'm using the P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 0.5. That's the shade I'm using to cut my crease. So what I will do is apply a little of this on the back of my hand, just like the smallest itty bitty amount. Like that, teeny tiny amount. And then using a really small detailed brush, I will be using it to kind of carve out my crease. This is actually the Dose of Colors brush. It came in like a palette. I don't really use the palette as much anymore, but I still have the brush. But you could use any just small defined brush. You could also use a really flat brush. I've seen people do that as well, but for this part I'm going to use a really small kind of like detailed brush. So what I will do first is just pick up the smallest amount on the tip of that brush, and what I'll do to pick up this color as well is I will kind of dip into it and brush outwards. That way I can ensure the majority of the pigment is in the brush and it's evenly distributed, so I'm not getting a ton of product all at once. I'm having a very hard time talking right now and I'm like slurring my words all over the place, so I am sorry if it's hard to understand me. I'm just plopping this on my lid just like that and blending outwards. One trick I really like to do, especially because I do have hooded eyes, slightly hooded eyes, so not like fully hooded, but enough that makes it challenging for me. I'll kind of apply it somewhere lower my lid, and then I'll look up and side to side like that, and it will transfer up as high as I would need to go. So then I know I don't need to go any higher than that little line. I'll kind of just drag this inwards. To cut the crease too, like I started doing this recently, doing like kind of like soft, almost like faux cut creases. They're not like legit like intense perfect cut creases, but what I'll do is kind of like start at the edge where I want it to be the most like sharp, I guess, and I'll drag inwards like this and down, because down here it doesn't need to be like, it can blend out pretty well, but the part of the cut crease that's important is you want that line to be perfect where you're basically recreating your lid space. So like this part of the line I want to be perfect, so by pressing down and blending downwards, I feel like it helps me create that really sharp line. And this takes a while too, but I'm just kind of softly blending back and forth to cut out my crease. Like that. This is going pretty well though. And then I will just basically put this right over where we applied, or where we didn't have any shadow before. This is just kind of helping to clean it up a little bit. And I'll blend out my finger as well. Make sure it's all nice and even. But that is a pretty good cut crease for me. Again, it's not super intense, but it's pretty soft, but it does enough to make it look a little bit cleaner than it did before. Next, I'm dipping right into the shade Bronze. It's that beautiful shimmery gold shade from the palette, and I'm picking that up on a Morphe M455 brush, but I'll just kind of be pressing into that and then just like tapping that on. And I'll mainly be concentrating this right at the top of where we cut our crease, just because for the rest of it I want to go in with my finger. I found that applying shimmer shades with the brush is never as pigmented as it is when you use your hands, so I'm just kind of going, since I have long nails right now, I'm just kind of using this right around the edges I want to be sharp, and then once I get a little bit lower, that's when I'll just pick up the shade on my ring finger and start applying it like that. But yeah, it definitely makes it pop more when I do that. It's really hard to get into the inner corner. And I will lightly go over that dark side a little bit too. And I'll pick up a little bit of tempera as well in that same brush, right in the inner corner area, just to brighten that up. Picking up our blending brush we were using before, I'm picking up a little bit of the shade Rustic and just lightly going to just pat that over where that like middle point is between the bronze shade and the Cypress Umber shade. And this is going to help diffuse that line and help blend it even more. I'll pick up a little bit of Cypress Umber as well, just to deepen that color back up. But that way you can see a little bit of the shimmer poking through underneath, but it looks so much more seamless than it did before. I'll pick up a small amount of that Noir shade again, just to build back that black color. Again, just popping that right where we would have almost a eyeliner wing. So before I go and apply some glitter, I wanted to show you guys what this looks like by just using the shadows from the palette. This has honestly been my go-to recently. I haven't done glitter in a while, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to pop some on. But in recent videos, this is the look I've been doing without the glitter, and I absolutely love it. So that's what it looks like without the glitter. This is it with the glitter. So it's not too much of a difference, it just adds a little bit more sparkle, which I think is always really, really fun. Next, I'm going to show you guys how to apply the glitter. We just got a Morphe store in Seattle. I was so excited to go to it, and I got this liquid sugar sprinkles base. So it's actually like a glitter base. And I picked up this glitter as well. It's from the same brand, it's Eye Candy Cosmetics. And this is the shade Yellow Melon. And this is the glitter shade I used today. It's more of like a holographic. I feel like it's like multi-dimensional. It's like not all one color. It has like all these different specks in it and it looks beautiful. What I'm doing first is picking up a little bit of that liquid off the top of the lid and applying that directly to my eyelid space. So we'll kind of slightly ruin what we already did. But again, if you were not planning on doing glitter, you obviously would not need to ruin what we just did. So I picked up a nice layer of that glitter and I'm just gonna press that on So the base wasn't really working. We're gonna try this again. I'm just gonna tap that on all over the lid. Okay, this is much wetter this time, so hopefully we get a good result, unlike last time. So picking up the glitter directly from the pan and just pressing that on. There we go. Picking up some more and just pressing that on like so. Just tapping and blending that out. There is like so much fallout with this. And then slightly going outside that too. And this is what it looks like with the glitter applied. Next, I am going in with some black liner. I am using the Lauren liner from Thrive Cosmetics, and I'm applying that all over my lash line, waterline area. So with this eyeliner, I actually decided to do my entire lid with this, so I went above my lash line. I don't have eyelashes right now, so it was kind of hard for me to define where that line was and where it ended, but I basically applied that all over just so when I apply false lashes, it'll be harder to see the band and it will look more seamless this way. Before I go and add some false lashes and mascara, I wanted to show you guys how I do the under eye area as well. So taking a pencil brush, this is the Morphe M455 brush again, so the same one we used to kind of cut the crease. I'm just going to pick up one of the shades. I'm picking up the shade Rustic and just lightly tapping into that and going right underneath my lash line, kind of starting in the back half of my eye because I know there's more pigment on the brush, and then once there's less pigment, that's when I'll kind of start to move that forward and blend that out. So again, just picking up Rustic and then a little bit of Cypress Umber as well for the outer corner of my eye. And then at the very end, picking up the smallest amount of Noir, it's that black shade, and tapping that in just to kind of blend together both the bottom area of my eyelid and then the top one as well. So it looks like there's a seamless line going from the bottom half of my eye to the top. After that, I'm going to go apply some false lashes and mascara and be right back to show you guys the finished eye look. And this is what the eye look looks like all together with some false lashes and mascara added. And this is what it looks like with a full face of makeup. I wanted to show you guys what it looked like all together. Also, I wanted to show you that you could really use any sort of lipstick with this look or lip liner. I'm currently wearing the Thrive Cosmetics Lip Fuller Lip Liner in the shade Khaki. It's more of like a brown shade, but I wanted to also match it with a shade that's similar to the shirt I'm wearing. I've also worn this with a blush toned pink lipstick as well, so this look is very versatile and you can mix it to match like pretty much any lipstick color that you're thinking of. So I have this ColourPop Cosmetics Slow Dance Velvet Blur lipstick, and it's definitely darker than what I'm currently wearing. So I want to show you guys how this looks with a darker lip color. Frankly, that's why I love this eyeshadow look so much, is because I can mix and match it with any lip color and it's not too overpowering. So you could definitely go for like a statement lip with this eyeshadow look, or you can go for something more subtle like a nude lip or a blush lipstick or even like a pink lip. Those all work great, and that's probably why I've been wearing this since the summertime, because I can do more like summertime looks with it, but then I can also make it more dark and fun for fall and winter events and New Year's Eve as well. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you want to see more basic eyeshadow looks like these. I honestly do them all the time. They're my favorite, but I feel like they're kind of boring at the same time too because they've been done so much. But apparently Soft Glam is back in right now, so thank you Jesus for that, because that is like my go-to every single time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!